Hello. Hello. I'm a little bit early today, but I wanted to give people a chance to get signed in and logged on and say hello when you get here. But today, we are going to color ice cream monsters. Hi, bestie. We're going to actually color this one and this one from the ice cream monster set. Hi, Ellen. Last week we did the ice cream cones, and I wanted to show you today, like I talked about last week, doing the eyes. So we're going to do these two guys tonight. And then we have dies that match them, so that one and that one match the little monsters here. When we get ready to start, we're going to start with the eyes of the little monster in the ice cream cone. And we're going to use this color combo I have out here right now. So B97, 95, 24, 12, and then G00. So this is our set. So if you have this set, grab it and get it stamped out so you can start with me. And if you want to just watch, we're going to do this one first. You can watch this one first and then color this one with me. Or, you know, color them both with me. So I'm going to give it just a minute because it came on just a little bit early to give a few of the gals a chance to jump on. It's about 10:01 now, slightly earlier than our lives before because we decided to pick a set time since you guys and I had so much fun the last 2 days, Thursday and Friday. So I decided I'll make it a regular thing and we'll hang out each night at 10 o'clock Central Time. Hi, Brenda. And you'll also need a white gel pen. This is the one that I got from Pear Blossom Press. It's the best white gel pen I've ever had, no lie there. We do sell them at Sweet Sentiment, but it's from Pear Blossom Press, so that's where you can get it. But it is the best white gel pen I've ever had. And then I'm also going to use my colorless blender here. So I've been summoned. Hi, Aaliyah. Yes. So I was telling everyone, those who have just now jumping on. Yay! So this is the color combo we're going to start with. Hi, Cheryl. We're going to start with B97, 95, B24, B12, and G00. And then I'll just repeat one more time. I'm going to start with this little monster first, and then we're going to do this little monster second. So if you feel like watching first and then coloring, stamp this while we start on this one so you can color with me. Oh, the little munchkin to bed. Well, thank you for coming anyway, even for a little bit. And if you love it, you can watch the replay. I'll upload it to YouTube tomorrow morning, and you can watch it there too. They are cute, aren't they cute? So we talked about this a little bit last week. Hi, Linda's watching. Hi, Julie. We did the ice cream cones last Friday, and this is the ice cream monster set, and I did the artwork on this, so I'm so glad when you guys say you like them because it makes me feel super good. So anyway, if you want these, they're in the shop. Otherwise, we can go ahead and get started. Linda's watching. So I'm going to, and I cleaned all my markers, so most of them should look really good. And look, I got Jamie to stay up late. How about that? So B97 is what we're going to start with. And we're going to jump right in and do the eyes first, which is usually the most challenging part. But so I'm going to actually take the B95 and I'm going to draw my outer part of the eye so I know where it's going to be. And I'm not doing this with the lightest, like the light color like we did on the other ones, because I want this dark to show the outline of his eye. So you could do it once first with like a very, very light, like a B4 quadruple 0. How about that? You could do a B quadruple 0 and do it first if you're not confident in drawing the circles, but I already practiced before we got on the live, so I know where I want those eyes to be. So it looks a little funny now, but is that better? Much better. Okay, so I just used my B95 in order to draw those lines, just to give me my guide for the eyes. And then I'm going to go back to my B97. Whoop. There you go. Now you can see it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just outline this little pupil of the eye that I drew in there really lightly. And I don't know, others might do this different, but this is the way I'm going to do it. It looks like I punched him in the eye. And then I'm going to draw these little teeny tiny lines in different lengths around his eye. These will be lightened when I do the other colors over it, but I want to give it that look that we have in our eyes. So he's going to look real scary here in just a minute for a little while until we get them done. But I promise they're going to look good when they're done. You can hear the 3D printer. Yes, it is still running. It has been running for days, but I'd rather hear the 3D printer than to hear my husband pounding the leather in order to make stamping with leather. He pounds and pounds and pounds over there. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Yes, coloring is how we met. Coloring eyes. I called Jamie and said, oh my gosh, I need you to teach me how to color eyes. And so she did. So now this is the B95. It's the same color that I used to do the outline. And now I'm going to do some little tiny lines going the other way with this one. So it's really tiny lines, not like me, just really, really tiny. And then I'm going to go around this part and sort of extend it a little bit from where I put the darkest color. These are going to look like a hot mess until they're done. But then our eyes, they're not. They're pretty crazy. They got a lot of colors in them. And then I'm going to take B94. And I mean, really, this is going to look a nutso for a little bit. But you'll get it in the end. So I'm going to go around where I put that other color and just put in this color. Now this one is a bit of a different type of color than the other blues. So these blues are kind of like blue jeans. And this B24 brings out like the bright, bright blue in your eyes. So that's why I chose to add that one. I'm going to put a little bit down here by the bottom. Looks like I've almost colored them in, but I left enough white in there to show some different colors. So I'm going to take my B12, not B94, you're right, B24, not B94. There's no 94. Did I say 94? Sorry, it's been a long day. And then I'm going to fill in the rest of this eye with my B12. So now some people would just leave it like this, but this, right after this is when the magic happens, the part that I like so much. So they just look like solid blue eyes, nothing fancy, right? So then we take this G00. You want to see it up close. See how you can see the lines in it? But this is when the magic happens. This is my favorite part. This G00 really makes it awesome. So I'm going to go around his eye with this G00 several times. Just going around in a circle. And then you see how that kind of washes it a little bit and makes it look sort of real. That's the best part. That's my favorite part. I missed a little spot right here, so I'm going to go back and fix that. If you do this and you get it too light, you can always go back in and add more. But look at the difference between those eyes just adding that G00 in there. And the real, being able to tell the real way it's going to look is going to really pop out when you actually color the rest of them. See? So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Just doing a circle round and round till you see it start changing. And these are big eyes, so you can really see it on here. Now one looks lighter than the other. It is pretty awesome. This is my favorite part. And when Jamie used to color eyes like this, I was like, oh girl, you got to teach me how to do that. That's super amazing. And so when you do that G00, it kind of washes out all of those lines that you did. So sometimes I'll go back in with a really light color and show those lines a little bit better. So the B95, not 94. Hello, Becky. So with the B95, I'm going to go back in there and I'm just going to go really lightly over those lines that I had there before. Just to kind of make them stand out a little more. And to soften them, I'm going to go over it with the G00 one more time. Just to really, really soften them up a little bit. But I want to be able to see those lines. So I'm going to go back with my G00, and I'm only going to have this marker for like a split second. So just a light brush over it. And then I'll show you what it looks like. Isn't that neat? It makes them look really good. And trust me, when I finish coloring the rest of it, they're really going to pop. So that's how we do the blue. When we do this one, we're going to do it in a different color. So you'll be able to see that green work on the blue and the next color. So I'm finished with these blues. For now, we're going to go back to them. We're going to repeat the colors tonight so there's not too many colors. And when I upload this to YouTube, I will add the numbers of the colors that I used. So if you want to go back and watch it again and color with me, you can. So our next colors are going to be... well, they're going to be if I can find them. I somehow lost... oh, here it is. R89, R89, R85, and R83. So I'm only going to use these three on the next part that I color. So R89, 85, and 83. Jamie stayed up late to join me. So here's R89. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to color this little ice cream up here. I'm going to make it like a strawberry ice cream because you know I like it so much. Thank you. Thanks. I like how his eyes come out. But you know, I gotta give all that credit to Jamie because she is definitely, I said, I can color, but I cannot do these eyes. I need some serious help. And so she said, let me finish making my dinner and I'll call you back. And I was like, okay. And that was the first time Jamie and I actually spoke on the phone. And then the rest is history. So I'm doing the bottom part of this ice cream because it's the underside and it's the darkest part, the shadow area. So I did it where the scoop goes in and then underneath it. And then I'm also going to use this R89 just to do the outside of this cherry. But I'm not going to do the cherry in the same reds that I'm going to do the ice cream. Because I want the cherry to be more red, and this combination is more of a, I don't know, a soft mauvish pink, if you will. Mauvish pink, is that a word? Probably not, but it's okay because it's late. So I'm just going to pull out from where I put that darkest shade and extend it a little bit further. Now this is a big jump between R89 and R85. So I'm just going to go over it twice to soften those strokes that were in there, and then a third time to extend out from there. And that'll soften those strokes and make it really smooth. So I'm going to do the same thing down here. Little strokes. So you can see the lines in there, but then when I go over it a second time, it'll smooth those out. And then I extend it a little bit because going over it makes it a little bit darker. That kind of smooths out those lines and leaves me just the shadow that I want. Hi, Alicia. It's cool that it pops in and tells me when you're here. Jamie, are you telling our story of when we met? Jamie goes, you should come to the Idaho scrapbook. And I was like, sure. Let's go. She was like, for reals? I said, yeah, I'll fly out there. Sure, why not? So I'm going to extend out from the last color and just kind of pull. I'm going to do it a second time just to smooth it out. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here with this little bit. But this one, I want to leave that really, really light there. So this time, I'm just going to go over those lines this way. See? Then we have awesome little ice cream cone there. Yes, you do give me all your maraschino cherries. I like maraschino cherries. Okay. So we're going to come back to these colors, so don't put them away. I'm not an axe murderer yet. But we are going to pull our 46 and 43. You know that R46. Looks like raspberry sorbet. Yum. I like sorbet. This is what we're going to finish the cherry with, is R46 and then 43. But that R89 works really good for that dark, dark color. And this one, I want to keep this cherry kind of light. So I'm going to actually push the color back in on this one. Like that. And I'm going to go around where the pit is. It's just a little spot. It's just a baby cherry. Good night, Jen. Okay, R43. And then I'm going to finish filling in this cherry. And you'll notice when you use the R43 that it pushes the ink away and lightens the color. So you want to make sure you don't do it too much. So see, there's my cherry. And we'll put the highlight on the cherry with the white gel pen. So now we have eyes, ice cream, and cherry on our little monster who jumped in the cone. Because when you have a good story, that's all you need. am going to pull out my R85 again, because this is what I'm going to go ahead and do his tongue. So I'm going to do R85 for the middle part of his tongue. I'm going to give him that little line on his tongue. And then I'm going to come in with R83, and I'm going to go the entirely opposite direction because I want you to be able to see that little tongue in there. See it? It's right on a sparkle, so it's hard to see. I did that really well right there on a sparkle. Hi, Elizabeth. Oh, yay! You made it, you made it, you made it. Okay. Yes, okay. So I'm going to move on to the ice cream cone, and I'm going to give him chocolate dipped cone. So I'm going to use different shades of E's in order to do the chocolate and the cone. So for the chocolate, I'm going to do E29, E27, E25, and E23. So that's going to be my chocolate combo. For the chocolate dipped cone, raspberry and dark chocolate. That is some of the best. I'm going to turn this light just a little bit because I think it's giving you too much glare on there. But okay, so I'm going to start doing this chocolate up here where his body is hanging over with really, really small strokes, brush strokes. Really small. And then I'm going to do a few on the side here, sort of doing it as an angle in the direction of the chocolate dripping. And then I'm going to do it along the edge of this because, you know, I don't know if you know, but if you put that melty chocolate on here, it's going to keep dripping down, and it's always going to be darker where it's dripping because it's a little bit thicker. So there we go. I know, this is the second time I've done an ice cream, the ice cream set, and I did have to have ice cream after I colored all those ice cream cones last week. I got off and was like, okay, I need ice cream now. Luckily we had some though. E27. So I'm going to pull from where I put the darkest shade and make very small brush strokes because we're going to try to fit a bunch of colors in this really small space. You want to come down lower here because that's where his little paw is. If that's what it is, a paw, I don't know. Around here where it's dipping down the most. Going to put a little bit down there. So we just have two colors in there right now. And then we're going to add E25. Yes, I'm live. You are catching me live. Yep, we just started a little bit ago. E25 is our next one. And we're going to come down just a little bit further with those really light, tiny, skinny brush strokes. Going to come up with the brush strokes, leaving just a little bit of white for that last shade, which is going to be E23. Hi, Leanne. So E23 is the last one, and I'm going to do those swish back and forth strokes over the area that's left with white. Just to blend those colors together because they're so close. So then we have chocolate dripping. Doesn't that look yummy? Yep. And that is, I think, all we're going to use that brown for. Now we're going to work on this waffle cone right here. Now, the ice cream cone in the stamp set just gave you the lines. But this one gives you a little bit more detail. So we're going to do it pretty close to what we did the other night, but just slightly different. So just hang in there, we'll get there. This is E37, 35, 33, 31, and 30. So I'm doing them in a sequence this time. Your inner chunky kid is hungry. Waffle cones, yum. Okay, so we're going to start with the darkest shade, which is the E37. And we're going to do around the edge of the bottom because there's shadow there. And then I'm going to do teeny tiny little bitty brush strokes up the side. And you could do this if you're not real good with teeny tiny brush strokes. You could just do a line. This cool little contraption right here is a Copic Holder that my husband is printing right now, if you can hear the printer running in the background, for us to sell in the shop. It's a new product. Isn't it awesome? It's super awesome. Everybody's going to want one. You know they are, because it is amazing. And he's almost done printing them all, so they should be shipped for the shop soon. And there'll be a few different colors and so forth. So with this darkest shade, I'm just going to come along the tops of these little squares. Only on the tops. Like that. And that's outside of the square. You see how it's starting to give it a little dimensional look? Just doing that little bit. But as we add more, it will be even better. Indeed. Yes. Oh, yes. He said that was next. He's going to start on the next one. Do you have that one you printed, honey?
What's that?
Oh, is this it? No, this is it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave me a prototype. Want to see? Who knows what it is? This is a marker refill station. So the new refills that we got fit right in those little things, so when you're filling your markers you don't have to worry about like holding on to it. And then there's another little piece that holds your marker. We'll show you more details later, but it's pretty awesome because yes, refill tray. Yeah, I know. That was what I asked for, and then Jamie said she wanted this and I wanted that, and so y'all are gonna have the option to have both. Okay, so we're on R35. This is the second color in the combination. So I'm going to come out with these little brush strokes from the sides just to show that curve of the ice cream cone. I'm going to do a little bit on the bottom here. And then I'm going to start coming down into these diagonals right here. But I'm not going to go this way. I'm just going to go down this side. Yes, the spot for the Q-tips. Yes, I know. I love it. And that's why I told him it had to have a really good lip on it, like this. See how far down that goes? So that it would hold those without rolling off of your tray. That was really important for me. And then this is E33. Now this is the third in our 5-color combo. So this is the true color. So we're going to use it a little bit more of it. So I'm going to pretty much fill in most of these diagonals. Again, only going in this direction for now. And then a little bit at the bottom where the cone is curving up. And then I'm going to go just along these on the side and on the right side and the underside. So really want these to look dimensional. So you see that? It's starting to come to life. All right. See? Something for you to show tomorrow, Jamie. See what? It helps for you to be up late. E31. So with E31, I'm now going to start filling in this stripes going the other way. And I'm going to just touch around the edges just a little to fill in these couple of squares that are really close to the end. A little bit on the bottom, and then that's it. So at this point we have, yes, you'll be awake for your live in the morning. I'll even be awake for your live in the morning. Yeah, because I started that. White, teal is my craft. We'll have white, black, pink, and purple. They didn't have any good teal PLA for us to get this time, so okay, so our last one is E30, and with E30 I'm going to fill in these little squares with the lightest color. It's really light. Kind of brings together the cone. So then you have, doesn't that look dimensional? Looks like a waffle cone for sure. So that's it for those brown shades as well. So now, I bet you can't guess what color we're going to make this little guy. I know teal is, but they just don't have good PLA for teal right now. So, you know how things are all on back order and all that junk. So, yeah. Okay, so BV17, BV13. It is wicked hard to get in filament. BV11, BV00, and then we're going to throw this R81 in there. And I know that sounds crazy, but I promise it'll be okay. It will be okay. All right, so we're going to make this little guy purple-ish. It's going to be kind of a purple-ish color. Just roll with it. You'll like it. BV17 is the first one. And this is where we're going to put all of our shadow. So a little bit over here where this ice cream is. And then I'm going to do just a little bit down this part of his little ear. And a little bit in this dip right here. Just like that. I'm going rogue. I always go rogue. This little bit right here. Then this. Huh? What do you mean by going rogue? Because I pick colors that don't go together. And then down at the bottom of this ear. And then underneath the ice cream here. A little bit under the ice cream right here. And then I'm going to go down here to the bottom where his little chunky self is hanging over. Going to go above his little hands a little bit. In between them. Above his hands again. And then his little chunky side. And then I'm going to put some little marks where his little fingers separate, just to define them a little better. Dale is in your chair. Yes, he is. Uh-oh, you're falling asleep. I could yell. That might wake you up, right? Oh, you keep losing me? It seems to be okay here. BV13 is next. Ooh, 20 people, and Jamie will give a prize. So BV13 I'm going to pull out from where I put that darkest shade. Just kind of start defining this just a little bit more. A little bit in here. Then I'm going to go from this underside right here of his little ear. So we're starting to get that ear colored in. Okay, good. It must be your connection. Okay, so a little bit out on this ear. And then here, we're going to just pull this out a little bit and go up underneath the underside of his ear. And then we're just going all these places where the darkest shade is. Be careful when you go around his eye, because you don't want to put purple in his eyes. I'm going to come up from here, up from these dark areas. I'm going to try to only stay below his lips for this color. There we go. Then I'm going to come down a little bit on his hands, because his body is kind of shading his little hands. Yay! So we got his little hands done. And then to accentuate his eyes, I'm going to use this color and just go on this underside. Now he's going to look like he's tired. I kept him up too late. That's what Jamie's going to look like tomorrow. Okay, BV11 is next. And this one I'm going to use a whole lot more on this one, using this color. So I'm going to close up this ear part right here. I'm going to leave a little bit open down here for that last color, but this is kind of like my true color of that. So leaving a little bit here, because that's where I want to make his ears look a little bit on the pink side, because the inside of his ear. So we're leaving just some really light highlight areas, really, really little bit. See how we're filling in most of it? Coffee and a concealer. And then we're going to come down from this side and up from the bottom. I'm going to kind of leave his lips undone. I'm going to do them with the last color. So I'm kind of leaving his lips not colored. And I'm going to come down from here. Be careful around his eye. And come down in between his eyes a bit. I am going to come up here where his lips are. Kind of fill that in a little bit. Pull out from where I put those bags under his eyes. He looks a little silly now, but when we put the last color on, it will all come together. And he'll be so super cute. Isn't he just adorable? I just love these little monsters. So I'm going to skip to the R81, and you'll see why in a few minutes. So on the R81, I'm going to put that in his ear up here, and it's quite a difference from the purple. So you'll see what I'm going to do in a minute to settle that a little bit. Now, if I wanted to, I could do his lips and it'll look like he was eating that ice cream on his head, but we're not going to do that. Not tonight. I might try that another time. Now we're going to use the BV00. Sit still, buddy. We're going to use the BV00. And we're going to start filling in where we left it white. And we're going to have to do that shade over it a little bit, a couple of times, to really smooth that out. Now we're also going to go completely over the pink. It's still going to leave it pink, but it's going to make it way more subtle than it was. So if I hold this up, you can see it tones down that real bright pink and makes it smoother. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go right here. I'm just going to kind of blend these out. And then we're going to go over this pink. Just kind of smooth that transition a little. And then we're going to go down the side of his face and smooth all of that out as well. So we're really just smoothing between the light and dark colors. I'm going to do this one more time because it still looks kind of blotchy. Now I'm going to go around his lips. Color those lips in. I'm going to do between his eyes. And I'm kind of using a swishing motion to smooth out those two. Because this color tone is quite a bit lighter than the rest, I'm going over some of the dark spots just to make sure it blends really well. Now his little lips are really, really light, so I'm going to go over them one more time so that it really blends in. And then we're going to do the same little swishy motion with his little hands or paws or whatever you want to call him. I mean, he is a monster, so I don't know if it's hands or paws or what it is. But there we go. There's our little monster. The colors, the blending colors between these, the lightest and the darkest, look much better in real life than they do on the camera. But there you go. There's our little monster. And look at those eyes. Don't those eyes just pop? They look so great. But when you first do them and you do them before you do anything else, you're like, oh no, they might not look good. But once you get done with everything else, they look awesome.
Give it another white point reflection.
What?
Give it another white point reflection in the eye.
I haven't done that part yet.
Okay.
Back off. Look at old Dipper over there trying to dip in his opinion. Yep, close to Maryland. In April. Yep. So this is our ice cream cone monster, and this is our other monster. So now we're going to work on this little monster. Okay, so we are going to do him. We are going to do his eyes in that purple color that we used for this little guy's body. So I guess I could have left them in there, huh? BB 17, 13, 11, and 00. And then we're going to pull the G 00 as well. But I don't know if I'm going to use that one. Probably just these four. 17, 13, 11, and 00. I want to meet everybody. Big Dipper strikes again. That's what Jamie and I call him. The Big Dipper. Big Dipper's here joining us tonight while he watches me color. I should be making him color too, but then he'd need my markers and that would not work out well. So BV17. So we're going to start with his eyes. So we're going to jump to the second color, which is BV13. And that's the one I'm going to draw where I want his eyes to be. So that was with BV13. Oh, no, we didn't mean Ontario, California, not Ontario, Canada. I know, it gets confusing when we say that. Now I'm going to use the darkest purple to go around that pupil of his eye. Kind of close up that circle a little bit. And then I'm going to make those lines, those skinny, tiny lines that we talked about that we did on the other one. Those ones that make him look like he's an alien or something. Hee hee hee. See? It looks like an alien. So we're going to do BV13 next. He could be an alien. He could be an alien, or he could be a monster. He could be whatever you want. Or he could be like I don't know, a dog. He's like a happy alien. He's super happy. So I'm going to take BV13 and I'm going to go around where I put that darkest shade. And I'm going to finish off this circle and do some little tiny flicks underneath there with the second color. So kind of a few steps. Finish off his eyeball circle, go around the dark area to soften that just a little bit, and then a few little flicks in this direction to fill in his eyes. So I'll hold that up so you can really see that. So he kind of has flicks going in this way and this way. If you gave him red eyes, he would certainly be bloodshot eyes. So BV11, I like this BV11 with those other two because it kind of changes the tone of the purple. So we're going to go in here. We're going to fill in around that same place we were going before, and now we're just going to go along that line that I put in there for the edge of his eyeball. And then I'm going to go and do this one, kind of rounding out that eyeball to make sure it's perfect. Oh, you got all the colors here. I wonder if everybody would want to see what the colors look like for this holder. I have them all right here. I could show you. I could. BV00. So now we're going to finish off those areas in the eyes that still had white in them. Now, this is where, if I wanted to keep his eyes really purple, like this, then I would just use this color and go round in that circle, 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 so you could see.
Someone asked the question, why take both ends of the marker off?
Oh, why do I take both ends of the marker off? Because the ink will be drawn to this end and this end, so it's less likely to blob onto my paper. And I just filled my markers so they're kind of full, and there's the possibility of it blobbing out on my paper, so I take both ends off so that it's equally working to pull ink on both ends instead of one all going to this end. So I'm going to just go around with this color just a couple of times. And then I'm going to add that G00 so you can see. Plus my chisel side would probably never be seen if I didn't take them both off. Just kidding. Hi, Mickey. Okay, so now I'm going to take this G00 and I'm going to do like I did before, only I don't need to go around this top. Let me see if I can show you. This top part of his eye because it's too close to the top. So I'm really just going to do this half circle right here like this. And you're going to start to see it wash out just like we did before on the other eye. And it lightens up that area down there so it looks like the light is really hitting his eyes. So now I'm going to do the same thing on this side, just a half moon shape. And you just keep doing it, giving it a little pause in between so it can do its thing until you have it in the shade that you want. So I like these because, and it looks like I have a little bit more green on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and keep doing this side just a little bit more. You see that? So I can get a little bit more of the green so both eyes are equal. See? His chin's like you do. So look at how much his eyes pop. Isn't that awesome? I love using this G00. And if I make the eyes a lighter tone, like mine are mostly dark, so I use the G00, but if they were lighter, like if they were hazel or if they were a really light color, then I would use 000. And then that's all I need those for his eyes. And now I'm going to pull back out my R89, my R85, my R83, and then I'm going to pull R81 as well. So we have these four we're going to use. And we're going to do his Buddha belly here, and his tongue, and in his ears. And probably this tuft of hair and his little tail. All going to be this pinkish color. I know you use that G000, but I like the 00. R89. So I'm going to put just a little bit of this R89 under his ear where it's folded over. I'm going to put a little bit on his tongue where that little line is so it'll more define that when I put in the other color. And then I'm just going to go along the sides of his belly where this solid line is. I'm not going to do where the dotted lines are, just where the solid line is, and then his little belly button. I'm also going to do some tiny little flicks in his tail to make it look like it's hair. And same with that little tuft on his head. So those are really teeny tiny little flicks, so I'll show you before I go on so you can see them. They're just little teeny tiny ones in there. And you almost can't even see the red on his tongue, but I promise it's there. Because you saw me do it. I do color darker than you do. I like the dark colors. R85 is the next one. And when I do that, I'm going to kind of push back into this R89 because it's so dark. I'm going to put a little bit at the base of his tail and the base of that little tuft mark. And then this one, Just going to start blending these colors out just a little bit. I'm going to keep that round shape because I want his little round belly, his belly to be round. So I'm going to work on this, extending this out, giving him his little round belly. I'm also going to do some fatter flicks out from underneath his chin, because a lot of that would be shadowed from that little chubby face. Every time I say flick, sorry, I can't help it. That's the Copic gal, the Copic education in me, I'm sorry. So I am going to put these little brush strokes at the bottom. I do try to say brush strokes. And just kind of build that belly. Kind of build that belly. And then I'm going to come a little bit here. These are really tiny on his tongue. And that's it for the R85. Good night, Elizabeth. I can't wait to see the finished alien. He's going to be so adorable. R83 is the next one. And I'm just going to keep blending these colors by pulling out from the last color towards the center of his belly. And along the sides, kind of blend, make sure those blend really well. Then up from the bottom, leaving, I'm going to stay under his little belly button now. Just making sure those dark colors are mixing between the two. I'm going to come up here on his ear and finish that off, because that's really hidden in the dark, so I don't even want to put the lightest color in there. Just moving a little bit out from these. So there we go. We're getting them done. R81 is next. And this is the one where we're going to just finish off this little tuft of hair up here, and his little tail, and his tongue. And then I'm going to finish this with some little back and forth strokes, just to really blend that, putting a lot of ink on the paper to really get that to blend. And then we're going to watch a little bit as it blends. Up, down, and there we go. Now his little belly is done. He's kind of a quick color because he doesn't have a lot of details, but it would be, you could put spots on him and anything you want, or you can make his belly all the same color as his body, just whatever you want. It's your little dude. It was mine when I drew it, and it was yours when you bought it. So there, we're gonna now do some blue-green color, and we're gonna throw in some interesting ones in this one. Again, we're not gonna follow the same patterns we usually do. So BG 18 to 13, BG, oh, we should mix these up, so sorry. 18 to 34, to 13, to 32, and then I'm gonna throw in YG 41, which is more of a green color. So this is like a blue-green, true blue-green. See, you made him covered in scales. How awesome is that? So let's start with our BG 18. And I'm going to start up here in where his little ears are. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Just kind of staying with the shape of those little ears. Gonna come down here and do this underside. Same on this side. And then I'm gonna do a little bit from the top of his head. Just a little bit. He's so cute. I really like him. And then from here, from his neck, sort of building that round neck for you. Then I'm going to go down to where his hands are hidden behind his back. Do the same thing on this side. Down here. A little bit up from where his hands are. He's so cute. And then where his little feet are. And I think I might do a little bit under his chin, but I'm just going to do this as a straight line because I don't want to put too much on there. I just want it one little line along the bottom. Like an aqua. Yep. This is going to be a super fun color. I'm excited about it. BG34. So they're not going in order. I mean, they're going in some order. But we went from BG18 to BG34. And you might ask, how do I do that, right? How do I go from those colors? Well, I always have a little scrap piece of paper. And what I do is I take the colors I think I might want to use, and I do a little color palette and match them up to make sure that they'll blend really well together. And once I know they will, then I know I can use that. And so I did that before we got on camera so I could pick some very interesting mixes. So this is going to come up here, and then I'm going to kind of fill in that part right there. A little bit underneath his little ear. So we're going to do the same thing with this side. Bringing out that dark area. Going to kind of fill in this because they're kind of tucked in and there's a bit of shadow there. I wonder if this one is going to be darker. Let's see. See, it is a little bit darker. So maybe I should have been this one first, but oh well, we'll make it work. So moving down from here and up from here, a little bit down more on his body, on his arms, up from the bottom on his arms, and then we're going to start building this little neckline here. Because those colors are so different, I'm going to kind of soften this line right here that had the really dark difference between the two. So that kind of softens that line up and makes it more of a smooth coloring because I'm a blender. Going to kind of come up his legs. Blend those a little more. I'm going to put a teeny bit down there between his belly and his legs. I'm going to come up under his eye just a little bit because again we're going to give him I'm so tired eyes, and a little bit on this side. And that's it for now for this color. He looks minty right now. He does look minty, but when you bring him up, he's not quite that light. See, he's a lot darker. Oh, look, we missed that part right there. Good thing I brought him up there. BG34. Let's go back in and blend this out a little bit. I think it'd be cute to bring that in kind of to a point a little bit, and that's just a personal preference. You don't actually have to do that if you don't want to, but to me it's going to give them a little bit of style. Hee hee. Okay. So now we're going to move into this BG13. And again, I'm going to go around his ears. Filling it in a little bit more. Kind of putting some brush strokes in that lighter color that we just did, because this one is slightly darker, so the brush strokes will make it look like fur. So they're quick brush strokes. I'm going to go ahead and go up here while this is still wet, so I can give him some good brush strokes right down here. Hee-haw! And this is our third color, so I'm going to finish off the side of it, on the side of his face, and I'm going to brush stroke up his face, but only to his little chin area or lip or whatever you want to call that.
I can have an ice cream cone.
And then down here. Hey Jamie, do we still have ice cream cones in the shop? Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I like to teach. So up from the bottom, then I'm going to do around his belly to kind of give that shape with the darker color.
Go round the outside.
Hmm?
Go round the outside.
Yeah, we always say that when we say that. Round the outside, round the outside. I bet you Jamie was singing it in her head if she hasn't fallen asleep. Oh, the ice cream cones are sold out, babe. So you can't show those. Nobody will want them. People will want them and they won't be there. Do a little bit up there, and then I'm going to just highlight his little chin like that. He looks kind of funny right now. But we still have 2 colors to go, so we should be good. Yes, exactly, Jamie. Dale was singing it too. See, he took your spot. He knows your song. He's all about playing the role. BG32. This one will be lighter, quite a bit lighter. I'm just going to leave very small areas of white in there to bring in that greenish color. Very small areas. Some places will have a little bit more white, and some won't. And that's just wherever I want more green to show, I will put less of this color in and give it a chance for the green to really show through. So I'm just leaving real small areas of white. I want his little cheeks to be kind of greenish, so I'm going to leave that. I'm going to come down here. I'm not going to do his arms either. I'm just going to put the green in his arms. I'm going to leave that part. I'm going to leave this part. I'm going to fill in a little bit over here. So there's not a lot of white on him, but there's enough that it'll pull in this other greenish mintish color. Nope, not replaced. Nope. So YG41 is the next one. And so I'm going to go with those back and forth motions and fill in. And you'll be able to see that green really stand out. I'll hold it closer in a minute so you can see it. I'll do it more once I do his face. I'll hold it up so you can see the green in it really pop out. So I'm doing that kind of swishing back and forth. I don't want to leave any harsh, like when you put your marker down and you do this, you have like more ink right here, and I don't want that, so I'm doing more of a back and forth, so there's not a definite dot there. That's why I'm doing it like that. It helps to blend it a little better, plus it puts a lot more ink on the paper, so the blending works really well like that. So if I hold that up, you can see, you see how the green just kind of pops out compared to the blue-green that's down here? A little Christmas alien. Green and red with blue eyes. I thought he would match really well with this purple ice cream monster because when I put them on a card, I want to put them on there together. They're buddies. I'm gonna go down the side of his body. I am gonna do a little bit right here where his feet come up. Do this side of his body. And then there you go. And he's a really nice, pretty, bold. You love the colors of both monsters? Yay! I like them. I think they'll look really good together on a card together, these two little guys. So there they are, a little bit up close. This one looks like there's a lot of difference between these two colors, but not when you see it in real life. So it looks much more blended. They came out really good. They came out really smooth. And check out that cone, man. Wow. I like it. Okay, so before we go, we got to do our white gel pen. Okay? So with the white gel pen, before I get started to make sure I'm going to get these teeny tiny little dots, sometimes I'll practice just a little bit just to make sure it's going to do what I want it to do. I'm going to go over this little guy and put his little eye and then his little reflection up there. And then I'm going to do this one. And I'm going to put a little bit of highlight on the little cherry. Like that. And then we have their little eyes done. And then I'll make a card out of it. You guys can tell me what you think if you want. If you'd prefer I do one monster and then make a card, or if you'd prefer I just color, because I was just going to color and then I make cards with them and then I'll post the cards later.
Color me bad.
They're going to be in the shop, Deanna. They're going to be in the Sweet Sentiment shop probably within the next week and a half, depending on mailing, because my husband is almost done with them. So this is the true pink color that we're going to have. So it's more of a like a rose pink. This one is more like a peachy color, and this one is more like a pink, like a hot pink kind of. And then this is the purple one. The color's a little off. Let me see. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe if I zoom out, it'll be better. Ah, yeah, that's much better. Okay, so this is the hot pink. It really is hot pink like that. And then this is the purple, which is a little more on the purple and a little less on the blue when you see it for real. And then this one is the white one. So we have white. And this is the black one. So look, they're all... So he's been making them and making them and making them and making them. And these will be the first four colors in the shop. You like watch coloring and build a card? Okay, well maybe I can alternate off. Like if I do a bigger image, I'll make a card with it. If I do a smaller image, I'll do a couple of them. And that way we'll get some different colors. But these are the ones. Now you know what color they are. Woo! And he's almost done with them. And then we'll ship them to Jamie so she can get them in the shop. So there's the little monsters, and that's all I got. Anybody have any other questions? Do you want to see? Here's the set. This is what the set looks like. This is the ice cream monster set. Yes. We are. And we're going to have them in the same colors. This is the one I have on my desk right now because he hasn't printed all of these yet because he's been printing the holders. So these will be next. And then these are the ice cream monsters, and the dies, if you like them, that's what they're called, ice cream monsters. I did a video on the ice cream last week. I did these two this week. I used this sentiment. So when I do these two, I'll probably use this sentiment. That way you can see them, all of them at the same time. So then we've used this whole set. It's awesome. Aw, I'm so glad you like to watch me color. That's fun. Here's the, if you want to see this, this is the set. So this is the filling station set right here. So I'll show you how it works. So you put the refills in here and the Q-tips and whatever, you know, if you have a bad nib or whatever, you can throw it in there until you're done. And then the caps come off, or you can throw the caps in there. And they won't roll off because there's a lip on it. And then this goes down in the pen holder like that. See, it's open so you can see if you overfill it. And then this helps so that when you have your refill, this is the part that's hardest for me, is you can take your refill out of here, and then you can hold, that way you can hold it with both hands when you fill your marker, because I tore this tendon in my hand a while back, and it's just too hard to squeeze this and hold my marker at the same time. So this way you can squeeze them both like that while you're filling your marker. It's super, super awesome. So it'll come as a kit, so you'll get them both. So that's kind of how that works. And then should you overfill and it spills on here, the Q-tips and stuff, like, you can just go in there and clean it off with the colorless blender. She's been cleaning all your markers. That's awesome. That's like I did for Jamie. It takes a special person to clean all their markers. You're going to be so happy when they're clean. They're so much better to use when they're all cleaned up like that. Well, I hope you guys like this coloring. I will make a card out of this maybe tomorrow evening or the next day, and I'll post it so you guys can see it. And I will upload this video to YouTube so you guys can rewatch it whenever you want. It'll be on YouTube. And thanks so much for joining me tonight. You're saving for a plane ticket for me to come clean your markers, aren't you? Good night. See you guys tomorrow at Jamie's Live. Thanks for coming. Bye.